Hi, welcome to Cherie's weight loss journey. Um, I had to discard quite a few things today. All that stuff there came out of 2 closets. 2 years ago, you could have had me on the hoarder show. Yes. 2 years ago, my daughter, she did a little intervention. Her and her boyfriend and his friends, because I had some heavy stuff that needed to be taken out to the curb. And yeah, I'm still purging, right? Um, so many times, I still don't understand, you know, what it is that would make me hold on to stuff that nobody wants. Okay? But anyway, I decided to come out and get a little sunlight, yes, and do a video, because last night, you know, a video was talking about kidney failure. And I'm like, okay. You know, I thought that was mainly, for people who, um, thank you. She said you're pretty. She's a pit mixed. Yeah, she's a pit mixed. Thank you. You too. So anyway, I was watching a video and it was talking about kidney failure. And I'm like, okay, kidney failure, isn't that usually people who, you know, drink and have to go on excessive dialysis, or, I had read a little bit about it and came across this when, you over process, you have an over process of protein. And I was like, okay, so, that made me concerned, if you consume too much protein. Hi. And so then I I was listening to the lady further, and she got specific, and she said renal disease, right? And I'm like, renal disease? My first thought was that something with the retinas? Yeah, that was my first thought. And so, anyway, I'm like, okay, renal disease, let me look it up. So I look it up, and it's actually a characteristic of kidney disease, right? And I'm like, okay, well, tell me more. Let's see more. So I'm doing my research, right? And it was stating how quickly, once you get renal disease, that your body can shut down. I'm like, my goodness, it could be a few hours, or it could be a few years, or even several years. It could be a long process. I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting, right? Something this so general, but also so deadly, right? And I'm like, okay, let me just see some of the symptoms. So I go and I look at the symptoms, and the symptoms were things like fatigue, muscle pain, depression, constipation, and I'm like, what? Wait a minute, right? Then it started talking about the urine, and I was like, urine, huh? I was expecting for them to say, well, if your urine is a certain color. And they did say, that sometimes with renal disease, that you can, hold up, I gotta pick this up now. That with renal disease, that you can get, that you can have blood in your urine. But they also said that if you have, like, they said frothy urine. And I was like, well, what is frothy urine? Right? So this kind of stuck in my mind a little bit, right? And this morning, I wake up and, I look at my urine and I'm like, well, Jesus, my urine has bubbles in it. Bubbles. And I'm like, I need more information. I definitely need more information, right? Because I wanted to know, what is this all about? I wanted to know because if bubbles is the beginning of frothy, then I need to be more cautious. Okay? So I'm looking and reading. Come on. And I'm like, okay. So now I'm trying to figure out, what are the bad foods? Right? What are the bad foods? What are some of the good foods? Right? Well, I was shocked, right? What happened was I read my damn diet as some of the bad foods, right? Sausage, processed meats, pickled and canned foods and vegetables. I was like, oh my God, what is this? I'm angry now, right? Because I'm like, you know, we grow up on, our eating habits, then, you know, we go into like canned foods, because, you know, we just don't buy fresh foods enough. So now I'm like, what the hell? What the hell is this? Right? And then I'm reading on further, and chicken nuggets was on the list. Oh, sweet potatoes, they were on the list. I'm like, what? 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 How could this be? Right? So I'm upset, right? Because now I'm trying to figure out, how to eat differently than that, right? How are they just going to tell me that, sweet potatoes, chicken nuggets, canned vegetables, canned meat, sausage, processed meats, that's like your lunch meats and stuff, can give you problems with your kidneys. Huh? So I'm like, oh shit, right? And I got bubbles in my urine. It ain't frothy, but I got bubbles. And I'm like, okay, well, bubbles is the first step before frothy. Okay? But I'm concerned. And so I'm like, okay. We're going to have to figure out a different diet, right? Number one, instead of, my favorite hot links, I'm going to have to switch to, I guess, a fresh chicken, baked or boiled would be better. Okay? Then, come on. Then, yeah, that club salad, made with the Black Forest ham. I was like, you mean I can't, And so anyway, I'm sitting up here fighting with my mind to say, well, how about if you can't go cold turkey, you just start tapering off on this stuff, right? Because, if you understand that your kidney, come on, dang, you can't ride that horsey. You can't ride that horsey. Anyway, So I was like, okay, um, you know, let's put our knowledge to action today, right? So I go to drink my usual, right? I usually flavor my water 0 calories, okay? But for whatever reason, you know, I have gotten so used to flavoring my water that I don't like to drink plain water anymore. So, you know, I'm feeling very proud of myself for, drinking a gallon of flavored water, right? And go. And, not once concerned, about kidneys. Okay? Because I'm feeling like, okay, it's water, but it's flavored. And when I started drinking the flavored water, it was to encourage me to start drinking more water. Okay? Because it was a challenge for me to consciously drink 8 glasses, not cups, glasses of water. Right? And we could say that a glass is like, 16 ounces. Okay? So 16 ounces, you're looking at about a gallon of water a day. But I was doing that with the flavored water, right? And so then, my mind was stating, well, you can still try one day today to drink plain water. Plain, ordinary water. And I was like, oh, okay, I can do that. So that's what I did today. Although I did have 1 packet of the liquid IV because for some reason I think the liquid IV it gives you like 3 times the water of a regular glass of water. And some potassium, some other little stuff that they have in it. Well, damn it. So, I'm like, trying to still figure out, and I'm praying. I'm praying in my heart, right? Oh God, please don't let my kidney problems, occur because I done had too many chicken nuggets, because I done ate too much lunch meat. or because I ate too many hot links. Okay? And forgive me, for, drinking all of that flavored water. Okay? So, yeah. But, y'all can look it up yourself. It's called renal disease. And you'll see it has to do with a kidney disease. And we're coming up on Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving time. Oh my God. The stores get filled up with yams and sweet potatoes. Okay? And I like yams a lot. I like sweet potato, especially sweet potato pie with some whipped cream on it, and yeah. But now my mind is shifting. It's saying, my goodness, how could this be? Renal disease? Okay. So then I went to, the food list that's good for you. Should you have, some problems with, kidney damage. And I was looking through it, and they said, well, produce is fine. I mean, not produce, but dairy products. Dairy products are fine. But cabbage was fine. So I might review it again, right? Because I'm gonna have to buy some groceries tomorrow, and I was gonna buy the same things that I had been buying, and not even realizing that I could be expediting my own death, right? And I'm like, how is it I'm trying to eat healthy and expedite my death at the same time? So, yeah, last night I was confused in my head like crazy. Okay? And, like I said, having a few bubbles in your urine is not the same as frothy, right? Because it was fairly clear, right? It was bright. There was hardly any yellow in it. And, but it just blew me away. It just blew me away. Because the diet that I have been eating is like the same diet since I got off of the liquid protein. And then every now and then I would mix it up and have like cook some shrimp or something. Which, by the way, is what I had cooked today. Today, I cooked some shrimp, not fried. It's more like, because it was frozen, it turned into like a boil almost. And then had some, added some onions and some green and red sweet peppers. And, you know, I was going to, drain the juice and then cook some eggs with it. And because I wanted to cook like about three scrambled eggs to make it seem like it was a meal, I changed my mind and decided to go with boiling 3 eggs, but I only used one. And then after I boiled that egg, I was like, well, should I drain the juice out of the shrimp? And anyway, I tasted it and it tasted pretty good. And so then what I decided to do was, like I said, I usually water down my dressing anyway. I water it down because I used to drown my dressing. And the dressing is always so thick anyway. So watering it down is probably the best solution for me. So I decided to put, the dressing, to the salad that I was preparing instead, right? And it took me back to when I was in France. When I was in France, I remember eating what they had called was a hot salad. The salad wasn't really hot. It was the dressing on the salad that was hot. And I was like, okay, that is so weird, how this, brought back, a dish that I had in France 50 years ago. And I was like, okay, I'm going to pour the salad dressing into, let's call it the jus of the boiled shrimp. And, even if it's a warm salad, because I was pouring it over spinach, which, I love raw spinach, it would be great. And oh my God, it was so good, right? No bacon bits, no ham chips, but and I did add like a 4th cup of cheddar cheese. So today is dedicated to switching up the flavored water, the sausage, the processed meats. Ironically, the things that I have in my freezer, in case of desperation, is chicken nuggets and sweet potatoes. Yes. I'm not going to just, toss them. I'm not. But here's the thing about education, right? If you're educated and I'm not per se educated, but it has been brought to my attention you know, the problems, about our diet, right? A few videos ago, I talked about, I was concerned, about, people eating too much protein, which is when I looked up, what had came up was, possible kidney failure if you consume too much protein over an extended period of time, right? And that was because this one lady, she was making it her goal to consume 150 grams of protein a day. And I'm like, that seems like a bit much, unless you're a bodybuilder or something and you're building it immediately. So that's one way I was like, okay, I have to temper my protein intake because I am not a bodybuilder. Although I'm trying to build a nice body. But, yeah. And like I said, there are just so many things that we just take for granted that, our body is just going to, absorb what it needs and get rid of the rest. But sometimes, overloads can cause serious problems. And renal disease is definitely a serious problem when you can die within hours, like 3 hours to prolonged years. And I was like, wow. Right? The 3 hours is where somebody has like renal disease and they don't go to the doctor and like start dialysis immediately. And I'm like, oh, no. I don't even want to be a candidate for dialysis at all. No. I've seen some of those places driving by, and it's not good. It's not good at all. So anyway, thank you for watching me on my weight loss journey. I hope it was informative, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.